everybody. Welcome to English for You today. I'm Kat.
And I'm Elsie.
Today we've got kind of a, what would you say, a moody article?
And a little bit spooky.
Yeah, spooky. Yeah, this would probably be good for a Halloween kind of article.
Yes.
Although we are talking about it in February. That's okay too. So we're talking about the dead.
Yes, the final journey of London's dead. 伦敦亡灵火车. So speaking of London, have you been to London?
I have been to London a long time ago. It was when I was 13, so almost 20 years ago.
Did you take the trains there?
Yeah, I took the tube. Yeah.
You took the tube.
The tube, yeah, is what they call London's subway.
Yes.
I think I only took it once because the rest of the time we were on a bus going around as a tour group.
Okay, so are you good at history?
I think so. I think I know a fair bit about, especially Western history.
So
Maybe not, yeah.
You've been to London, you're good at history, and I think we're ready to check today's article.
Yeah, well, I guess this must be, since you're talking about London and history, we must be thinking about something in London's history. And it's sort of a weird part of London's history, so I hope you guys find this interesting. Let's go ahead and check it out.
Reading.
The Final Journey of London's Dead. Around the mid-1800s, London had a problem. It was the world's largest city with a population of about 2.5 million. However, its cemeteries hadn't grown along with its population. There wasn't enough land to bury everyone. In 1852, the London Necropolis Company, LNC, figured out a solution. The LNC bought land in Brookwood, a village near London, where it opened a cemetery. Every day, trains carried the living and the dead from London to Brookwood, where the funerals were held. The trains ran every day, and the LNC hoped that this would become the most popular way to bury London's dead. However, even during its busiest period around 1900, the number of funerals didn't meet the company's expectation. The LNC was still in business in the 1930s, but the trains were only making a few journeys each week. Then World War II began. In 1941, the German Air Force bombed London, destroying the LNC's main train station. This was the end of the Necropolis Company.
Okay, so our article starts off around the mid-1800s, so about 150 years ago. London had a problem. Well, London had many problems in those days, didn't it?
And this was one of the problems.
Yes.
大约在1800年代中期呢，伦敦有了一个问题. Okay, and we said this was one of the problems. What was it?
Something about dead people. It was the world's largest city with a population of about 2.5 million. That sounds small now, but back then there were, maybe only 1 or 2 billion people in the world, and it was a lot of people.
In London, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 这边我们看到这个字 population, 它指的是人口。人口数这边是 2.5 million， 也就是250万人。当时呢，伦敦是世界上最大的城市，人口大约是250万。It was a lot during that time.
It was. You didn't have cities that had that many people at that time. In fact, cities were not that densely populated until maybe 1900s, something like that.
Wow, you are really good at history. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Anyway, let's move on from that. Okay, but what is their problem? So they have a big city, big population. However, its cemeteries hadn't grown along with its population. Of course, yeah. So, anytime you have a lot of people, you also have a lot of people being born and a lot of people dying. So a cemetery is a place where the dead people are put into the ground.
Cemetery 就是墓园，那这边呢，你看到课文里面用的是复数形哦，去掉字尾 y 加上 ies 变成 cemeteries。那我们这边说到人口虽然多，但是墓园并没有跟着人口数而变多。那在这样的句子里面呢，我们刚好看到了英文练功房里面的过去完成式。过去完成式的式子呢，帮同学们复习一下哦。主词出来之后，加上 had 之后要加上的是一个过去分词。那当在过去发生两个动作的时候第一个先发生的动作我们用过去完成式来表达，第二个发生的动作呢，我们则是用简单的过去式就可以了。For example, before I got home last night, my dog had already fallen asleep. 这个句子里面呢，两个动作都存在，而且都是昨天的。第一个先发生的动作呢，就是我的狗先睡着了。My dog had fallen asleep. 所以你会看到我们用的是一个过去完成式。那再来第二个后发生的动作呢，是我到家了。I got home. 这个 got 我们用过去简单式来处理就可以了。So here, the article tells us the number of cemeteries in London hadn't grown along with its population.
Right, so they don't have enough land to... Well, that's what the article says. There wasn't enough land to bury everyone. They ran out of space.
能用来埋葬死者的土地就不够了。So how are they going to solve this problem?
Buy more land?
Maybe.
Maybe. Well, it sounds like that's actually part of the way that they solved it. So the article says, in 1852, the London Necropolis Company, or LNC, figured out a solution. So interesting. So we have this London Necropolis Company, and I guess you're going to explain the word necropolis for us later. It's kind of like a city for the dead.
I will explain it.先复习一下刚刚 Kat 讲到的 figure something out or figure out something 就是想出某个办法。那再来就是这个看起来很难的字Necropolis， 那当你看到字首是 N-E-C-R-O 开头的，它代表的是死者或是尸首，就尸体的意思。那字尾的 P-O-L-I-S 它就是字面上的城市的意思，所以通常呢会作为地方名字的字尾，例如Metropolis 那就是大都会的意思。那在1852年的时候呢 LNC 这个公司想出了一个 solution。Right,
so they figured out something. They figured out, which means they found a way to solve the problem, or they learned to understand something difficult. Like when you are in school and there's something really hard that you're trying to learn, but finally you're like, aha, I get it. You figured it out. So then we have this vocab word, which is solution. Now, solution is a noun that means just the end of a problem. It's the aha moment where you figured it out. You can make the problem go away. You can work the problem out. And now there's no more problem because you've got the solution. It's kind of like problem's opposite. It also, the same verb solve is from the same root as solution. So you have solution and solve. So solve a problem. For example, Lisa created this new product as a solution to a problem in daily life.
Solution 就是解决问题的方法，所以我们会说 a solution to the problem 问题的解决方式。那刚刚 Kat 提到的这个动词 solve 就是解决了。So in 1852, the LNC came up with a way to solve the problem in London.
So what was their solution? Well, it's kind of like I said, buy more land. The LNC bought land in Brookwood, a village near London, where it opened a cemetery. So in this sentence, we are talking about Brookwood and we say it's a village. Now, village is one of our vocabulary words that means like a group of houses and other buildings in the same location. So it's a kind of a human settlement, kind of along the same lines as a city or a town, but a village is smaller than both of those. Usually it's thought of as more like a countryside place. It's got a very small population of people. And it could be inside of a larger human settlement or kind of, off to the side or off in the countryside where there's not a lot more people. So a village is a small place where humans live, where people live. So here's an example sentence for village. We went to the village where my dad grew up last week, and it was wonderful.
哇，他们在 Brookwood， 也就是伦敦附近的一个村庄里面，买了一块土地，用来当成墓园。You are very smart, Kat.
I guess so. I mean, eventually you're going to run out of land because there's too many people, but I guess for the time being, it worked. So what did they do with this Brookwood cemetery? Every day, trains carried the living and the dead from London to Brookwood, where the funerals were held. Now, we're talking about carrying living and dead people, so it's not just dead bodies. It's also the living people who want to make sure that the dead bodies get buried properly, so they're holding a funeral. And a funeral is a ceremony for someone who recently died to send them to rest and make sure, if you believe they have a spirit, to make sure that their spirit can go on peacefully.Funeral
就是丧礼或是葬礼，所以这篇文章说到啊，每天呢，火车会载运生者和死者来往伦敦，还有 Brookwood 这个地方。那葬礼呢，则是在 Brookwood 举行。
Okay. So they hold funerals at Brookwood Cemetery, and there's apparently a lot of dead people, a lot of people dying in this city of 2.5 million. The trains ran every day, and the LNC hoped that this would become the most popular way to bury London's dead.And
in this way, they could make a lot of money.
Exactly. It's interesting how you can profit off of death.
Yeah. 所以这边提到火车每天都开哦，所以呢，这个公司就希望能够让这样的方式成为是埋葬伦敦死者最受欢迎的方式。
Yeah.
Interesting, right?
Yeah. But then what about if people start dying less? Like if medicine gets better?Then
they can't make any profit.
Exactly. Do they start killing people?
No,
I don't think so. I think we're making stuff up now. But anyway, back to the article. However, even during its busiest period around 1900, the number of funerals didn't meet the company's expectation.
Wow, you were right.
Oh, not enough people dying. I'm so sorry. All right. Well, so we have this second vocab word here. It's period, during its busiest period. And a period is a certain stretch of time. So from, one particular time to another, it's called a period. It could refer to a lot of things. Like you could have a period of national celebration, especially if like your country, wins a war, or you like a new king or a prince is born or something like that. We often name periods. So for example, the Victorian period was around the late 1800s in the UK, because that was when Queen Victoria was the Queen of the UK. The medieval period, which was a lot earlier. The Three Kingdoms period in China. I think that was three different kings. Don't know? Okay. Colonial period, when a lot of different countries were colonizing other countries. And then there's one way, 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 way long ago, the Jurassic period, when dinosaurs were around.
I know this one.
Okay, good. All right, so an example sentence, I give you yet another one. Japan's Edo period was a long-lasting time of peace and wealth.Period
这个名词呢，代表一段时间或是时期。那文章这边说到啊，然而呢，即使在最忙碌的时期哦，也就是大约在1900年期間，这个公司呢，还是遇到了一个问题。And the problem was that the number of funerals didn't meet the company's expectation.
Yeah, that's right. So what they were expecting. Expectation is what you expect. Expectation is the noun. Expect is the verb. It's basically something you think is going to happen and something you want to happen. So if it doesn't happen, you might feel kind of let down, disappointed, maybe even angry or mad. So, for example, when you're a kid, your parents and teachers often have expectations of you as a child. You have to follow the rules, don't be mean to people, respect your elders, get good grades, so on and so on. So the expectation that the LNC had was that there were going to be more funerals because there were going to be more people dying, but there weren't. So they got disappointed and they lost money. But anyway, an example sentence for expectation is, my mom has the expectation that I'm going to become a doctor, but what I really want to do is write books. I guess you can write books as a doctor.
Expectation 这个名词呢是预期或是预料，那它的动词形式是 expect。E-X-P-E-C-T 那这边有一个搭配的字是 meet somebody's expectation 代表的是达到某人的期望。In Taiwan, there are a lot of students who need to meet their parents' expectations.
Yeah, I think people have a lot of expectations of students here.
所以学生需要达到父母亲的期望 and they have a lot of pressure and stress.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the article. 葬礼的数量呢还是达不到预期。And what happened?
Well, I guess, if you're losing money, you can only stay in business for so long. The LNC was still in business in the 1930s, but the trains were only making a few journeys each week. Yeah, because at that time they had better medicine, fewer people were dying. Even if there's more people in London, if you're not having as many people die, you have fewer funerals. So, yeah, you're not going to be in business for much longer. But be in business means the company is still running. They're still offering services. They're still selling things. In the LNC's case, the trains are still going. Now, the opposite would be to go out of business, which is what they might do soon.
Be in business 是正常营业 Go out of business 那就是倒闭没有营业了所以如果你放一个最简单的主词进去 The hotel 好了你可以说 The hotel is in business 它还是正常的营业那如果有一天它倒了你可以说 The hotel went out of business 那到了1930年代的时候啊 The LNC 还是照常营业 But the trains didn't run every day There were only a few journeys each week.
Right, and journey is our next vocabulary. It's a noun that means a trip somewhere. So when you take a trip somewhere, you are on a journey. You're going from point A to point B. It's the time that you have in between. It's the part where you are actually going between when you leave and when you get there. That's the journey. They often say that the journey is more important than the destination, which means that the steps you take to get somewhere is more important than actually getting there.
过程比这个结果更重要。That is very important to remember. Journey 这个字呢是旅程、旅行。那有时候我们搭飞机或者是高铁的时候，你可能会听到广播跟你说 Wish you have a pleasant journey.
Have a pleasant journey.
祝你有一趟快乐的旅程。那回到文章说到呢，当时啊，火车一周只有几个班次而已。There were only a few trains going from London to Brookwood.
Brookwood, yeah. So then things got even worse. Then World War II began. Wait, World War II? More people are dying.
Yeah.
Yay! No, not yay. No, and World War II began. I shouldn't joke about that. In 1941, the German Air Force bombed London, destroying the LNC's main train station.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's true.
所以再来二战就开打了。The German Air Force bombed London in 1941.
So here we have this bomb, and bomb is often a noun, but here it's actually a verb, and it just means to drop bombs on something. So a bomb is something that's made to explode, send out a lot of fire and heat and smoke and maybe some sharp objects and cause death and destroy things. So World War II, Germany had a big air force and they were fighting the UK, so they were bombing London from the planes. Lots of things were destroyed, lots of buildings were destroyed, and a lot of people died. So an example sentence for bomb, a verb, might be, the end of the war in the Pacific came when the U.S. bombed 2 Japanese cities, killing huge numbers of people.
Do you still remember what were the 2 cities?
Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Oh my God, you got another point again. Okay, so bomb 这边呢当动词用哦，不过注意 MB 结尾的字，我们的 B 是不发音的哈，所以我们的声音是 bomb。那它可以当动词是轰炸，当名词就是炸弹。那在文章中当的是动词使用。我们说到1941年德国空军轰炸伦敦 and the LNC's main train station was destroyed.
Right, along with a lot of other historic buildings in London. Yeah, so the main train station was destroyed. Now, when we're talking about the main thing, the main one, that's an adjective that means the central thing, the one that everyone else or everything else comes and goes from. For example, in Taipei, we have Taipei Main Station, Taipei 车站. Now, if you can also talk about events, you could talk about the main event. Maybe there's a big festival going on. There's a lot of smaller events, but there's one big one. If you talk about somebody's main man, usually that's like their best friend. Or what's your main goal? Like the most important goal that you have. For example, Ellie's main goal for this year is to get all A's on her report card.
Wow. I hope she can do it.
I'm sure she can.
Good luck on her. Okay, so main 这个字呢是形容词，代表主要的。那刚刚 Kat 有给很多的例子了，我们再补充几个，比如说 main idea， 也就是一篇文章当中的主旨，或者是一个电影或是小说里面的主要角色，我们会叫它 main character。那回到文章，因为德军的攻击 ，the LNC 的主要火车站也被摧毁了。
So their train station got bombed, and they were already losing money, so the article says this was the end of the Necropolis Company. I guess that makes sense.
Okay, so 这个公司也就这样结束了。No more the LNC.
Yeah, too bad. Who's going to do all the funerals now? Well, I guess we'll find out more in day 2, but right now we are at the end of day 1, so we're going to go straight to our For You chat.
For You chat.
All right, our For You chat question today is a big can of worms. In other words, you could talk about this for a long time. What problems does your town or city have, and how would you solve them?
Actually, there are a lot of problems in Taipei, my hometown.
Yeah.
And I think one of the most serious ones is we have too many cars, too many scooters, but there are not enough parking spaces.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I always see people parking on red lines, parking in places they shouldn't be.
They're parking everywhere, and they're actually blocking other people's ways.
Yeah. Even walkers, even pedestrians.
Right. So I think people in Taipei should use more public transport.
Yeah. And especially,
drive less.
That would be really good. And I'm glad that they're opening more MRT lines. Like the circular line is supposed to...
Yeah, it's about to open.
Yeah, or when we are recording this, it's about to open. When you hear this, it will have already opened.
Yeah, good. And I think this way, we can also help with the air pollution.
Yeah.
We won't have that much air pollution if we only take public transport.
Yeah. Or if you have to have a scooter or a car, try and buy like a hybrid or an electric one.
Yeah, electric ones would be better.
Yeah. Anyhow, that's only just, one of the problems that you could think of with your city or your town or anything like that. Every place has problems. Every place has good things. So talk about what you think is good about or has a problem with in your city or town. We're going to see you in day 2 and talk a little bit more about Brookwood Cemetery. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The final journey of London's dead. Around the mid-1800s, London had a problem. It was the world's largest city with a population of about 2.5 million. However, its cemeteries hadn't grown along with its population. There wasn't enough land to bury everyone. In 1852, the London Necropolis Company, LNC, figured out a solution. The LNC bought land in Brookwood, a village near London, where it opened a cemetery. Every day, trains carried the living and the dead from London to Brookwood, where the funerals were held. The trains ran every day, and the LNC hoped that this would become the most popular way to bury London's dead. However, even during its busiest period around 1900, the number of funerals didn't meet the company's expectation. The LNC was still in business in the 1930s, but the trains were only making a few journeys each week. Then World War II began. In 1941, the German Air Force bombed London, destroying the LNC's main train station. This was the end of the Necropolis Company.
Vocabulary Review. Village. On our travels, we ate lunch in a pretty fishing village on the East Coast. Period. The Elizabethan era was a period of English history that occurred from 1558 to 1603. Expectation. Greg's dish didn't meet the judge's expectations, so he didn't reach the next round of the cooking show. Journey. Allie's journey from Vietnam to Singapore took her through several Southeast Asian countries. Bomb. Many buildings in Tokyo were destroyed when the city was bombed during World War II. Maine. The main problem with this city is the lack of jobs. If it weren't for that, I'd live here.
字汇小补帖
Cemetery. Necropolis. Funeral.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作。活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net